Well, I'm very happy to have the victory. I think they played hard, but I thought we could have won that game. And I'm not trying to sound cocky or whatever, but the way we broke out in front of them, I thought we could have won that game by, and it'd be a foregone conclusion the last 10 minutes, and we let them sneak back in the game. Uh, that's the disappointing part. I just pointed out we could not stop their drives to the basket. We kept fouling him, or they drive to the basket, and that was disappointing. On the other hand, we did out rebound them. We did shoot the ball well. We shot free throws well. We shot 75% from the free throw line. We shot the three well. Out rebounded by 11. I guess the only stat that we didn't do as well is we had 14 turnovers to their 11. So they're our young team, and he's got a talented young team. That number 4 and number 3 are very talented freshmen. But we've got to put people away is what I'm trying to say. I thought we could have won that game by, what did we win it by, 14? I thought we could have won that game by 25, the way we started the game. And then we let them back in it towards half, and then we take them again, I want to say to 19 or something like that, and then we let them back in it. So, that's the frustrating part to me. I'm very happy to start off with a victory. No. I'll take any questions if you have some.
Ethan Montalvo, 19 points, 4 for 8 from 3 points, from three-pointer. What can you tell me about how he's playing tonight? What was he seeing?
Well, one thing I'm going to tell you is he shot the ball well. He shoots the ball well. It's tough to beat us. If you look back at our games last year, Ethan shot it well against Georgia State, at Troy, at Georgia State. He shot it well against South Alabama there, I know for a fact. I want to say he shot it well here against one of those two teams, South Alabama or Troy. Everyone has to have somebody that's a dead-eye shooter, and Ethan is supposed to be that player. What I have been impressed with Ethan, I think his defense has been a lot better this year. People, he's not the quickest guy in the world, so I've tried to convince him, and I think he has bought in quite a bit about don't let your man catch it, or make him catch it so far out that he needs a third dribble to get to the rim, and by that time we can get there to help you. And so, he may have bought in more than any other player on the team in terms of what he needs to do to be successful this year. But I'm just happy he was feeling it and hitting the shots. He hit some big ones, including that first one, which I think was luck off the backboard from straight ahead. But we'll take it any way we can get it.
Robertson, he had he fouled out obviously, but he had 12 rebounds, 4 blocks. What has he meant for y'all on the defensive end?
Anthony Robertson has been one of the keys to our success thus far. He really is, and I've got Cam's frustrated. Cam broke his nose, and we put Anthony in there, and he wants to be playing more. But like I've told, I brought Caven and Cam in my office. Said it really comes down. You two got to compete against each other because neither one of you are rebounding like Anthony is. And Anthony doesn't have to shoot the ball. While you have a lineup with OJ, Ethan, Caven, Cam, and Imani. There's a lot of people who want to put that ball up. And with OJ and Anthony in the lineup, I've got 3 scorers and 2 facilitators, for lack of a better word, and they're ready to distribute the ball. Anthony is a phenomenal rebounder for his size. He has a knack of going to the ball, and if we can, I told my assistants, if we can find a 6'7", 6'8" guy like that, we're in business. And if he can shoot it a little bit, we're really in business. So he's been a very good glue or chemistry guy for us this year, and his rebounding has been excellent. I don't know if y'all know this, but when Imani missed that free throw against Washington State, Anthony actually got the rebound, but he tried to put it up real quick, and he lost it or got blocked. I can't remember, to be honest with you, but he got in there amongst all those 6'7", 6'8" guys and got the rebound. I wish he would have pulled it out, but nevertheless, his effort is very commendable on the boards.
At the beginning of the season, or even before the season, did you think he'd have this much of an impact?
Let me tell you something. Last year, coming out as a freshman, he was a freshman at Weatherford. I saw him play. We were looking at a big man on that team. And I told our guys that I like Anthony. And we took another player. and that player is no longer with us after 1 year. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I really thought about grabbing Anthony because, I think he can be like a Bruce Bowen type player, long arms, can defend. He has to get better on the defensive end, but he is an excellent rebounder. Just has a nose for the ball. Excellent.
Is he good at those corner threes like those?
No, he doesn't. I told him, I said, you rebound great, but you shoot like hell.
Coach, those 2 games last year were an offensive struggle. What was the difference this time around against this team?
They're not as good defensively as we are, as they were. They got a lot of young kids, and I think most freshmen don't play because they don't know the concept. They're the studs on their team in high school, and everybody's screening for them. And the coach says, we're going to put them on the worst offensive player on the other team and use them for their offensive capabilities. Then you bring them up and say, you got to play defense. And you got to go screen for other people. And that's a shock to those guys. And, Courtney Julian, he shot the ball every other time on his high school team. I had a kid at Stephen F., Desmond Heyman, who hit the 3 against VCU. Same way. He played in a little bitty country high school. Man, I drove through the backwoods of Mississippi for 3 hours to get to that game. And if he didn't shoot it 2 out of 3 times for his team. Well, Desmond struggled his freshman year, but then he came on and turned out to be a very good player for us. And even after I left, he did a great job. And sometimes they leave you because they think it's not that way at other places. Then they go to other places and realize, unless you're playing for a run and gun operation, which there's not many of those, they're going to have to do the same thing somewhere else. So, it's something that he has some freshmen on his team, and I think they're going to get better and better and better. He's going through a rough time in terms of he had a great team, but they were about 8 seniors on that team last year, 8, if I'm not mistaken. So he knew that he was going to have to rebuild this year. But they sure battle. They battle back. They never quit.
Coach, you touched on them coming back towards the end of the game. I think it was Ethan that hit the 3 to put you guys up 20 with about 13 minutes left over in the game. What could you do defensively looking at in the future to help shore up finishing games defensively against your future?
Work on it more. Just keep working. I don't know. Either we don't have players, either we need to work harder at it, or our players just – and this is a concern of mine. They get to the point, we got them. Not in this game. I worked for Billy Tubbs at Lamar my very first year as a full-time coach. I went from grad assistant at North Texas State back then to Lamar. My very first year as a full-time salaried coach, I go to the Sweet 16 with Lamar. And we were up 20 on Weber State at Weber with 3 minutes to go. There is no three-point line back then. And we win by 2. Players don't realize that. How quick the game can turn, especially out the three-point line. And that's one thing that I'm worried about my team. They don't – I wish we had a better killer instinct, if you understand what I'm saying.
That was the word I was going to use, too.
We need a better killer instinct. So.
Is there a certain player that you would want to turn to that would have that killer instinct, or any come to
Not
mind?
right now. And secondly, we got to get some subs to play better, to where a guy like O.J. Black, idea about playing for big money, because I said, you can't do this 82 games a year. Couldn't do it. But he's really been a very key part of our success, When I say success, when I looked at the schedule at this point in time, I knew 3 games were going to be tough to win. And that was UTEP, Corpus Christi, and Washington State. We didn't have Anthony for UTEP. We didn't have Imani for Corpus Christi. And yet we almost had the game at Washington State. If we win that game at Washington State, I will tell you we're 100% what we could do. because A&M Corpus, even though it's a Southland school, and I don't want to slight the Southland Conference. I was very, very. That's part of my blood. It's just, but from top to bottom, they're not as tough as the Sun Belt, but there's still some very good teams in there. And A&M Corpus Christi they and Stephen F. are probably the two best in that whole league. Washington State is Washington State, and UTEP is UTEP. So, Anthony's averaging about 8 rebounds a game. We didn't have that against UTEP. And Imani played at about 80% from a hip injury. We even questioned whether he was going to play that game, but he wanted to play, so we tried him.
Coach, I don't know if you saw, but UTA they beat up on Georgia State.
Georgia State by 20.
Are you expecting a fired up team coming in here on Saturday to play you guys?
Yes, I am. My guess is they're going to have one hell of a practice tomorrow. Coach Hunter's going to be breathing fire. I'm shocked by the margin of victory. I'm not shocked by the defeat, because UTA has proven it's a good team. They're a very confident basketball team, and they got a very good coaching staff, and Ron Hunter at Georgia State's an excellent basketball coach. He has a good team. I'm watching tapes where they beat Old Dominion, they beat Middle Tennessee State. I think they lost to UAB and one other school. They're 7-3 like we are, and they played some good opponents, and beat them, albeit in close games. They beat some good people at home this year. So. I'm not shocked by the defeat. I'm shocked by the margin of defeat, yes. That just tells me how good UTA is. Now, UTA is in the top 5 or 6 mid-majors. And Little Rock is up there also.
Yeah.
So